So what we're going to do today is share with you how to enter basic text and dimensions in AutoCAD. So first off, on my home tab, home ribbon, I'm going to make sure that I'm in my text level just to make sure that we are good, or my text layer, to make sure that we are all set. To enter text, all I'm going to do is go to my command line and type in the word text, and I need to specify the start point. So I'm going to indicate where I want. I can hit enter to specify the rotation angle 0, and now I can start entering my text. Now with text, we want to make sure that we're typing in all caps. So I'm going to go ahead and label this as detail A, and on the next line, I'm going to label the scale 5:1, which is what I have on the screen. When I'm finished with the text, I just click in the background and I can click more text somewhere else. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. Something else that I want to do with respect to text is I want to point out where this detail came from. So I have this yellow circle that's here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a leader on there. So the command that I'm going to use for that is leader, specify leader start point. So I'm going to pick, I'm going to turn off my snap cursors to my points. I'm going to indicate on the outside of my circle. Click here, click where my little line is beginning, and then I can hit enter first line of annotation or text. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to end my points, and I'm going to hit enter to do options. I'm going to go ahead and select M text, and that's going to allow me to start typing. And here I'm going to type in C detail A, and then I'm finished. I can click another location or click outside of that to get that to be finished. Now I'm ready to do dimensions. Now before I do dimensions, I want to make sure that my dimension text is going to be in decimals. So I'm on my main ribbon, I'm going to go to annotation, and here it says annotative, which is what I want. Sometimes it'll have fractional 1 to 16 or 1 to 8, but I want to make sure that I'm on annotative, and that's going to clue me in to have dimensions with decimal places. I'm going to go to my annotate tab, and I'm going to use this section here for my dimensions. So let's say I want to go ahead and put a regular dimension on here. I'm going to make sure that my snap cursors to 2D points is active. I'm going to go ahead and put in a dimension for the particular side view. Okay, so I'm going to go dimension linear. I'm going to pick this corner, pick that corner, and there is my face width ready to go. So that's a way that I can use my my standard dimensioning tool, linear dimensioning tool, to do that. Okay, if I want to do align dimensions, they're a little bit more tricky, and I'm going to need to do align dimensions in my detail. So I'm going to use my align dimension tool here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the transverse tooth thickness. I'm going to do that here with this center tooth. So I'm going to use my selection points, make sure that they're turned on. I'm going to choose my 2 points for my transverse tooth thickness, and then I can put it up and then hit enter. Now I'm going to escape, because if you take a look at this, this is says it's 0.3930, and that's actually 5 times as big as it's supposed to be. So if I need to change my dimension text, I can easily do that by double clicking on the text, hitting delete, and then typing in the correct size, which is here, and then clicking outside of that. Okay, so that's one way to do the align dimension. If I want to dimension the A addendum or the D addendum, it's a little bit trickier. I'm still going to use my align dimension tool. I'm going to make sure that my snaps are on for the first particular dimension, and I'm going to click that corner. I'm going to turn my snaps off for the second. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to make sure that that selection is perpendicular to the circle that it's in. Now I'm going to click this, okay, and then we're done. Now I'm not happy with where that text is in the dimension, so if I double click on that, I can actually move the position of the dimension and the text if I want, and then click in the new location, hit escape, there we go. And then I can go ahead and change this particular dimension to its correct dimension by hitting delete and typing in the correct dimension for the addendum. I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the dedendum. Again, I'm going to make sure that my snaps are on for the first dimension. Okay, I want to make sure we choose that here. And then I'll turn my snaps off for the second dimension. Okay, and then I'm going to choose that here. And then I'm going to be able to drag that out. And that's not exactly aligned properly, so we might have to mess with that just a little bit to get that correct. So I'm going to try to do that again to see if I can get this to line up properly. Make sure my snaps are on for the first. And then I'm going to try to choose to turn the snaps off. Make sure I choose something that's perpendicular to that extension line, and that's really close. I'll turn that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and double click on this dimension to move or to change my text size or change my dimension size, 0.0625. But I've got to hit delete for the text that I originally started with. Okay. And then click on the outside. I'm going to click on the dimension. I'm going to click on the dimension to move it once. I'm going to make sure my command line is clear. And I'm going to select the dimension until these blue buttons come up. And then I'm going to pick this particular box. And that's going to allow me to move the dimension where I want it to go. And then I can click the new location, and that looks good. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension my angle. Now with the angle here, the pressure angle, I'm going to make sure that I already have an extra line put in there for me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to my angular dimensions here, and I'm going to choose the line, the first line, the second line, and then I can put my dimension where it needs to go, and we're good to go. Now, one thing I did do is I put all my dimensions in my text layer, so I need to go ahead and move that back to my dimension layer. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my home ribbon, okay, and I'm going to select the dimensions, all my dimensions here, and I'm going to go ahead and put that back into my dimension layer. There we go, and they're all located in the correct place. Hit escape twice to get out of that. And I'm going to make sure that the remaining dimensions, I'm in the dimension layer. Looks like I got to change this one too. And we're good to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and dimension a diameter as well. The easiest way for me to do that, it's very difficult to go to the Annotate tab and find that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead in my command line and I'm going to type in diameter. Now when I go ahead and type that in, okay, it gives me dim diameter. I'm still going to select my circle that I want to dimension here. And then I also want to dimension my pitch diameter. So I'm going to hit enter and do that here, dimension that there. Now with my outside dimension, I want to make sure that that is a reference dimension. So what I can do is I can double click on that text. I can put a parenthesis on the outside and then put a parenthesis on the other side, and there we go. So that's just a quick showing of how you can use your dimension tools. So you can go back and view it again. I showed you how to do the basic dimensions with linear dimensions. There is the align dimensions here. There's angular dimensions. There are also align dimensions where we need to be very careful about our snaps to make sure that they snap in the correct location. And again, to move the dimension, all you have to do is click Make sure your command line is free. Click and then drag it where you want to go. Okay, or you can also move the position of your text. I hope that helps. Have a great day.